Hello, hate you all. 66. Sorry about that. I'm responding to your video, a question about atheism. Basically, the question, if I recall right, is what is an atheist? I think you might actually have a very good point behind this question. Basically, there's two answers. There's kind of the traditional definition that you find in a lot of encyclopedias still to this day, that atheist is somebody that disbelieves in the gods, believes there is no God or gods. And then there is kind of the etymologically based definition, which is non-theist, which is the breakdown of the word, theist, atheist, non-theist. And that would basically be someone who is just not a theist, or basically doesn't have a belief in a god or gods, which is a subtle distinction to some, but I think an important one. I like to go with the latter definition when I call myself an atheist, because I in many regards consider myself to still be agnostic. I don't really disbelieve in a god, period, although there are certain gods I of course do not. I rather do disbelieve in, because I think they're absurd and illogical, the claims that are made about them, at least. But and that is all for the definition of atheism, or atheist. I think there's a reason you're asking this question, and I think that might be that basically a lot of people tend to assume that if you're an atheist, you're a skeptic, a free thinker, that you perhaps are a naturalist and don't believe in the supernatural, and this is untrue at the very basic level of the definition. You can be an atheist and actually, for instance, I believe Taoism, a lot of our Buddhist, anyhow, that's what I'm thinking of, is considered an atheistic religion or philosophy, whereas there are supernatural beliefs such as reincarnation. There is no actual god or gods, usually. I mean, it's kind of a diverse field of thought, and I think all sorts of nutty ideas fall under the umbrella, but yes, a person can be an atheist and be a supernaturalist, and a person can be an atheist and not be a skeptic and hold all sorts of crazy ideas. For instance, you can be an atheist and be a Holocaust denier. Just because you don't believe in a god or gods does not mean that you have finely honed critical thought abilities. So I think you're kind of getting to this point because often people kind of make claims about atheists and what atheists believe, whereas in the most technical sense of the term atheist only implies a specific lack of belief. So I see people, for instance, make the claim, like when Kirk Cameron talks about being an atheist, I have seen people say, well, he wasn't really an atheist. Well, no matter how poor his reasoning, or if it's just because he didn't think about God, if he ever at any point in his life did not believe in a God, then he was an atheist by at least, one definition. So I do think it's kind of an important distinction. It's the reason, for instance, Sam Harris talks about leaving the term behind, basically defining oneself or a group of people by a negative belief or a lack of belief instead of positive claims and thoughts. I think there's some merit to his ideas, but I do think atheist and atheism are useful terms, but they are very diverse terms, and just because you're an atheist doesn't mean that you don't believe in magic or the supernatural. It just means you don't believe in a god. And again, just because you're an atheist doesn't mean that you have finely honed critical thought abilities. It just means you don't believe in a god. Are some definitions, of course, that you actively disbelieve in gods. So that's all, and hope this has been worth your time.